started on July 28th, and it was created by the legislators, and it's a $275 million grant. And this allows small business owners to be reimbursed for COVID-related expenses up to $15,000. So we have been blowing and going since then, and have been engaging with trying to make sure that not one stone is left unturned for folks to be able to participate. We've been operating a call center from, we were doing weekends, and now we are doing just Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So we are encouraging applicants to take a look at this and to call them if you have any questions about your application, if you want to know about the program. All around, it helps to be able to get answers for questions. So we've been doing that. We've also created a quiz. Now, they have taken this down since then, but they have figured out other ways to allow folks to see if they're eligible for the program. So we have lots of guidelines on there. We have a FAQ section to be able to go take a look at. A lot of folks that email me questions about the program, they're literally able to see that question in itself on the FAQs. And so it's been fantastic to be able to do that. And we are engaging with everyone to make sure we're hearing everyone's feedback and what's been technical difficulties, what has been easy, what's been more on the difficult side as far as applying for the program. So this is all stuff that the treasurer is definitely he'll go through everything. He can speak a lot better than me. So I apologize if I'm not as smooth as him, but it's been fantastic, and we're excited for this program, and we're ready to help out people.
Thank you, Avery.
Absolutely.
There's a lot going on in the state, and we greatly appreciate the Secretary's office for overseeing this program, and the legislators and all for signing and approving this program. We earlier today had a Zoom meeting with our partners at the Greater Shreveport Chamber on the Phase 3 opening, and so with all the COVID and the shutdown and Phase 3, Hurricane Laura, Hurricane Sally, I think we've all got a lot going on. So we appreciate the assistance from the state level, most definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. 2020 has not given us a break for 1 second. So we're definitely happy to do our due diligence and help folks out and try to get things started. Now, Lisa, have you been able to email the link to the treasurer?
I did. I've emailed it to him. I'm not seeing a read receipt from him as of yet. I just copied and pasted the email.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to try to get this started. Again, folks, I apologize for this. Mr. Mayor, I'm so sorry. The technology seems to fight us.
No apologies necessary.
Thank you.
Because it is a recurring meeting that we have, it's a registration meeting, Avery. And so he just clicks on the link like everyone else on here and puts his name and email in, and it'll pop him right into the meeting.
Yeah. I think he's a little confused. He's used to just being able to click in and dial in. He's not used to, oh, I think he's on. We may just need to unmute him.
And which number is he?
He is the 985.
Jessica?
All right. Do you see him, Lisa, to unmute him?
I do. Jessica is the one that has the logistics. She has to unmute him.
Perfect.
Can y'all hear me?
There we go.
Secretary Schroder, thank you.
I heard y'all talking bad about me.
Oh, no, sir. Never, never. Jessica, can you please go into the participant list and rename his phone number to his name, please, so that folks will know that that is him when he is speaking. Okay, we're here. So let's go ahead and officially get started. And Secretary Avery has done an excellent job of bridging the gap until we're able to all connect together. So thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you to all of those that have dialed in. And we have, today we are hosting in partnership with the City of Bossier City for our Bossier Chamber Chat, Secretary John Schroder. And he is going to talk about the Main Street Recovery Program. So for those of you that are just dialing in, on June 12, 2020, Governor John Bel Edwards signed Senate Bill 189 into Act 311, enacting several COVID-19 relief funds, and including the Louisiana Main Street Recovery Fund that awards grants to many Louisiana small businesses to assist in their recovery from the economic impacts of COVID-19. The program will be administered by the Louisiana Department of Treasury, and we have with us today Secretary John Schroder. So before I turn it over to the mayor to introduce the secretary, I want to remind everyone that if you have any questions that you would like to ask of the secretary as he's given his presentation, if you would please use the chat box located at the bottom of your screen to ask your question. At the conclusion of his presentation, we will go back and we will read those questions and get those answered for you. So, as I said, this is in partnership with the City of Bossier City, and I have with me on the call Mayor Lorenz Lowe Walker, who is a retired United States Air Force officer, so also known as Colonel Walker. And he was first elected to mayor of Bossier City on April 2nd, 2005. Is that right, sir? And, oh, you look fabulous for being in office for some time.
Yeah.
So, and the rest is history to the success of Bossier City. So, Mayor, I'll turn it over to you to introduce our secretary.
Thank you, Madam President. And I also want to join Lisa in welcoming all the attendees to this meeting. It is my pleasure to welcome and tell you a little bit about Secretary Schroder, but he really needs no introduction. He's been up here to visit with us so many times and has proven himself to be dedicated to supporting Northwest Louisiana. But for the record, Secretary Schroder is a businessman and an entrepreneur and a state legislator for more than 10 years. He was elected treasurer in 2017 and was recently re-elected for another 4 years. Secretary Schroder believes government should manage the dollars provided like a business, transparent and accountable. He has saved the state millions of dollars by renegotiating contracts and forcing departments to restructure their borrowing habits. He's returned more money to the citizens and unclaimed property than ever before on record. And he's an Army veteran. Sorry about that. Couldn't make the Air Force, but he did a great job in the Army. Seriously, thank you very much for your service there, Mr. Secretary. And he is a graduate of Southeastern Louisiana and mayor for 34 years, father, proud father of 2 and a grandpa. So that's our secretary, and welcome to the meeting, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you. I wish I was in Bossier right now, though, Mayor, because I'm just leaving St. Tammany, where we're getting a nice dose of this. I can't even keep up with these hurricanes anymore. So I apologize for not being at least live on my computer. I had to stay home and help my wife sort of batten down the hatch on a few properties. And so anyhow, it's nice to see you guys or hear you guys, I guess. And I do feel like I sort of live in Bossier sometimes because I'm up there so much. I'm actually going to scoot right by y'all tomorrow. I'm having a little town hall meeting in Ruston and West Monroe tomorrow evening. So look, I know most people have heard about this program, so I'm really not going to talk that long. But what I want to do is mention a few things, and then I'd like to just jump right into any questions that anybody has. As you know, this is created by the legislature and enacted by the governor And my job is to try to get $275 million out of the door to small business. And I got to tell you, as an entrepreneur and small businessman and a veteran of the legislature, I have not seen a program like this for small business, and I don't know anybody else who has. This is a first of its kind, legislatively created, and honored that the legislature would ask the Department of Treasury to administer a program. I basically had 30 days to stand the program up, which we did, kicked it off, and things are moving along. We have about 24,000, almost 25,000 applications to date. We have been able to adjust some things as we move along, and there's been a lot of misconceptions on who the grant is for. Many thought if you received any federal aid that you couldn't apply, and that's not true. And some thought it was for minorities only. That's not true. Basically, just about any business that is legally set up in the state of Louisiana is eligible for this program. There's just very few businesses that don't qualify. Now, we have had problems, and I appreciate the opportunity to visit with you guys today. We have had problems with the application because I don't mind sharing this with you. About 45% of the applications have been denied for one of four reasons. They're either not in current good standing with the Secretary of State, they're not filing their taxes, they don't have documentation, or they're just telling a little white lie on the application and saying that they had not received any federal aid, and when we check, they do. We do have this thing called technology that allows us to check to make sure people are registered, that they're filing their taxes, that if they receive federal aid, that they offset that. It doesn't disqualify you, but this program, the law doesn't allow you to double dip. So as an example, let's just say you received $50,000 in federal aid between PPP and the SBA small business loan. You would have to offset that, meaning you'd have to show where you spent that money and show those expenses, and you can offset it and be qualified. Early on, this program was set up for the first 21 days for only businesses that had received no federal aid. And I honestly believe that we would blow through this money in about 30 days. Well, that didn't happen for a number of different reasons, because many, many, many businesses who were eligible got SBA money and didn't spend it. So one of the things we've done recently to make the process easier, we have this thing called Quick Relief, and all you have to do now is go online, fill out check the boxes, and you pick Quick Relief, and you can submit a copy of your taxes, your latest taxes, either 2019 or 2018. If you filed an extension in 2019, then you just submit your 2018 taxes. That has really streamlined the process. The legislative auditor has agreed to sort of use that as a benchmark instead of having to come up with all your invoices for 2020, which we call itemized. If you are a new business and just opened in 2020, you'll have to swear and attest to the document, but you then would have to show actual invoices. So we've made it pretty easy, probably for about 95% of the businesses across Louisiana. As I said, we probably have 45% of the applications right now that have been disqualified. So there's plenty of money. The program goes until sometime late November, probably around Thanksgiving time frame. We have awarded roughly about $33 million so far, and we're looking to do a lot more. I think from the chamber standpoint and the leadership standpoint, I'm looking to try to spread the word. You can really do a lot of good things in your community. I mean, this is a $15,000 grant, or up to $15,000 grant that you get, no strings attached. You know, you don't have to. You spend it any way you want on Christmas presents, buy a new car, pay off your rents, whatever. The money's yours. It's a grant. So you can go to our website at LouisianaMainStreet.com. We also have a 5-day-a-week, 8 to 8 call center. That phone number is 888-795-4947. Avery will stick this information up on the website or the chat, so you'll see it. And if you have any questions at all, you can call that number. We also, a couple weeks ago, decided to allow CPAs, accountants, bookkeepers, financial professionals to do the application for their clients and have the grant reimburse them. So we've done just about everything within my power to make the grant as easy as we possibly could for businesses to apply. Now, you do have to understand that this is not a reimbursement program for your lost revenue. This is a program to reimburse you for your costs. Since government forced you to close down, government's fixing to pay you for your expenses that's COVID related, and just some of those things that are reimbursable are your rents, your utilities, certainly your payroll, you know, anything that you've done to make your either patrons or your employees safer, any PPE expenses. So I tell people any related business expense, even if you have a building that you own and you have a mortgage on it, it will pay you interest. It will allow you to take some depreciation or not depreciation, I'm losing the word, but it will allow you to allocate some of your expenses if you have a delivery service of some type and any notes that you have on your vehicle. It will allow you to take some of that. So it's a great program. I think it's sorely needed. I think many of us are worried about business and what's the future look like. I know where I live in St. Tammany Parish, not from New Orleans, not far from New Orleans. You know, this thing's crushing business, and you're starting to see closures, and people just are not going to recover. $15,000 isn't going to make you whole, but it certainly could be the difference between keeping your doors open for a few months, hopefully while we turn the corner on this virus and get back to normal if there is such a thing as being normal. So the last thing I just want to be very clear about is what the requirements are to apply. You have to be domiciled in Louisiana by March 1 of 2020. You have to have suffered some business interruption. I've sought to rule that as administrative program that if you're in business in Louisiana, you were interrupted. Now, some businesses were affected more than others, and some actually did better business than others, like groceries and Home Depot. Home Depot and St. Tammany Parish told me they were up 30% in sales since the virus hit. Your business has to be owned by a Louisiana resident. You have to have filed your taxes in 2018, 2019, or filed an extension. You can't have more than 50 full-time employees. And if you can check those boxes, and then you're pretty much on your way. The easy part about it now is all you have to do is download your taxes, and I tell people before you even start, scan your taxes, your tax return, and put it in your computer, so when it's time, you just download that right in, and you'll be good to go. So that's about my 10-minute version of what's going on and what's the Main Street Recovery Grant Program. And I would be happy to answer any questions or try to. And if
Yes,
we
sir.
can't, we'll get you an answer.
Yes, sir. So, Treasurer Schroder, Avery has put in the chat box the website and all the phone numbers and the hours of operation. While you were talking, since we are not able to see your lovely face, we have been scrolling through the LouisianaMainStreet.com website and pulling up the different areas that you've been talking about. So we've been able to demonstrate to those that are with us on the call the ease of using the website and applying for the assistance in the program firsthand. So we have showed them, like I said, the website, who can apply, what they can apply for, all the frequently asked questions, and the same things as well. So
And I want to mention too, every Tuesday at 10:30, like tomorrow morning at 10:30, if you start the process and you don't understand this, you don't understand that, every Tuesday morning at 10:30, we have Tuesdays with the treasurer, and it's a statewide webinar that you can get on. And Avery, if I don't know how people can get on that, but if you could give them that information, and if you want to join us tomorrow, every Tuesday, you can do that as well.
we do have a question here from one of the participants, and she indicates that she has applied, but her status has been in eligibility QC review since August 27th, 2020. What does that mean?
So what is it? You'll have to unmute yourself so we can sort of talk back and forth. You should be able to go into the portal, put in your MSRP number, and then it should tell you the last thing that they've done. And that's been one of the problems with the process, is you have to go in and check the portal for the communication. You mind sharing that with us?
Mr. Treasurer, this is Avery. I checked in with them and I got their MSRP number, so I'm going to follow up with them later and figure out what's going on.
Okay. But if you on a normal day, if you just go into the portal, they should be keeping you up of what the status is. If it's taken more than 25 days, then your application wasn't complete. An application that comes in totally complete pretty much gets in and out of there within 25 days. Unfortunately, we've only had about 10% of the applications that are complete and that have done all the documents. Now, the applications, I will share this, the applications that are in right now are taking a little longer, because since we made Quick Relief eligible for everybody, you'd already put the application in. So that there's a week or so of applications that were put in under a different criteria. So now they have to check and see which way you get the most money. So if you itemize, they're going to look at that, but they're also going to look at your tax return. And if your tax return gives you more money, then they will use your tax return versus the itemization schedule that a lot of people have used in the last 2 to 3 weeks, if that makes sense to you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. This is Mary. I'm actually the person that actually submitted that. And Avery, thanks so much for stating that you will be checking on that matter. I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you guys. But secondly, with that MSRP number, I've checked it for a few days, and I was one of the ones that did receive funding prior. But the last that I checked, Friday afternoon, the representative over the phone said that I needed to, all I needed to do at this point was wait. I did have a request to submit or to resubmit my 2019 taxes. They said they only saw my state but needed federal. And so I
Right.
did submit that and I'm waiting. So I've not heard anything since August 27th. That's why I thought I'd ask today.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Unfortunately, they're processing about 8,000 to 9,000 applications right now, not
Yes, sir.
counting what's coming in every day. So, like I said, unfortunately, it's taken a little longer because we have to go back and ask for more documentation. But I
Okay.
do tell people, ultimately, if your application is in, we're not in any danger of running out of money. To just be patient, it's coming.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, do we have any other questions? If you're
I have a question.
yes, ma'am, Miss
How you-
Turner.
Yes, how you doing?
Hi, welcome.
And I'm trying to make sure I have my camera right because I'm not, let's see. I don't think I got it right.
You look fabulous to me.
Okay, so I have been in touch with a couple of representatives. One of them was like two of them was very instrumental, very nice, very helpful. I mean, like perfect. Mr. David Richard and
Yes, ma'am.
yes, Mr. David Richard is just like amazing. And there was another one, Mr. Randy Cox, very helpful. Mr. Randy Cox actually helped me to. I had an application that he was going through all of my transactions, all of my expenses and my applications with me, and he noticed that I was missing one, and so he helped me. He was like, "You need to do this application for this Schedule C," and that application actually got funded before my other ones that I submitted on the first day that the program was available. So I am a multiple business owner, and I have 3 separate applications, all of which they're waiting, like they're on pause. My understanding was as long as you had the reliable expenses with the documentation that were eligible, that there wouldn't be no delays, plus that they were trying to, within the first 60 days, assist minorities, and I'm a double minority with business ventures. So in that process, I was one of those people who I have one business that has is a new business. I started it, I created it on paper July of 2019, but I didn't start business until January 2020. I've had multiple program directors go through my application, go through everything with me and everything, but it's still, that application is still on pause. They have put notes in that, hey, the business was created on this date, but it wasn't started until like business, because I'm a Louisiana Department of Health, Behavioral Health service provider, and you have to go through a lengthy process of even getting licensed in the state of Louisiana. So the creation date started, but I didn't do business until starting January, and that's when my expenses started. That's when I incurred like everything, and so I explained that to different people, Mr. Brett, Mr. Randy. He told me that they were going through a process of policy change for this, and nothing has changed on that application since. They told me, and I tried to go through the Secretary of State to change the date to January, but as you know, with the Secretary of State, there's laws that prevent you. When you file, that's the file date, and you can't go back. I actually tried to do that with a representative, and it changed my date till this month, that I created. So they did a courtesy and put it back to the original date, which was 7/18/2019. But business for me didn't start until 2020 January. And that's what my expenses detail. All of them are in a PDF file. I'm in good standing with the state. I am a Hudson Initiative business and a double minority, and still my application is on pause. I have another one for my JLE's boutique application, and that tax return is in the system. My 2019, my letter of good standing, my 2018 taxes was attached, my Hudson Initiative thing is attached, and still that application is sitting as well because I didn't file my 2019 taxes as of today, but I'm working on getting that done. But I've been having to go through a lot with just my mental health business with all the changes that's having to take place with it due to COVID. And that's just
All right.
okay.
Well, you sound like you have a lot of moving parts. So trust me, your applications aren't just sitting; they're working on them along with everybody else's. So if you've already listed a couple of problems, that you didn't have your 2019 taxes filed, and that's a problem.
Right, but my 2018 taxes are in there. And then for my new business, my 2018 for one of my applications is in there. And then my other business, there's no tax return for it because the business just started in 2020.
That's right. That's right. And did you say early on that you did get reimbursed a grant for one of your businesses?
For one of them, yes, but that was for my independent contractor business that Mr. Randy Cox was like. Mr. Randy Cox gave me the information to apply for it, and I applied at the end of August for this one. Mr. David, I was on the screen with him, and Mr. David went click, 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 because it was sitting there, but he did click, 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 and approved my application right in front of my face. Now, I have not, that's been since August the 30th that I spoke to him. It's what's today? Today is the 14th. I haven't received the check yet, but he said it's in out 3 days. Don't worry about that. That'll come when it does. But I do have another application where the tax return is there. The expenses are reliable. Everything is in there that needs to be, okay, they want my stuff. Yeah, I get all, okay, yes, I can.
So this is Avery Hall with the Treasurer's Office. If you can shoot me your MSRP numbers, we'll follow up with you about an update for all of your businesses.
Okay. And a guy did reach out to me, Mr. Alex, he reached out to me about one of them. And I told him that I would send, let's see, privately. What would I do? Just text it right there and it'll just go straight to you?
Yes, it will.
Okay.
So let's do this. Let's do this because I think what we need to do is get offline and somebody will get with you. And I am getting a couple text messages. Evidently, you have talked to a few different people, and there's a couple different issues. There's a couple different issues going on that's outside. Because remember now, although the Department of Treasury manages the program, I don't have any control over the Secretary of State or the Department of Revenue. And there's a couple different issues that they probably need to talk to you offline. So I'll get Avery to get that information from you, and then somebody will get in touch with you.
Okay, well, that's perfectly fine. I wanted to make sure that I got on here to hear, but I can say that I probably wish I would have done like that quick relief option for some of them, but this is something I want to clarify as far as that goes. So for the quick relief option, they're going off of your expenses, right? I know that you have to have
so
right?
time out. The quick relief is not an option anymore. That's the standard. So everybody is eligible for quick relief unless you started your business this year. If you started your business this year, which you stated you did, then you're going to have to itemize. You're going to have to show your receipt, and that way. Your other businesses will all qualify for quick relief, and they're going to do it automatically. So they will look at it even on the check that you have already received. If that check came before we made this policy change, they will go back and review your application, and if you're due money, you'll get a check in the mail like Santa Claus on Christmas morning.
Well, I need Santa Claus to come on.
Miss Turner and
Yes.
Treasurer, y'all connect offline. We have a few more folks on here that have some questions. I greatly appreciate you joining us today, Miss Turner, so that we can connect you with the treasurer. So if you don't mind, we're going to move on to the next person, and y'all get together offline, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Miss Kemp, you had a question. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can. Go right ahead.
Okay, great. I received an email this morning that stated we are unable to verify with the Louisiana Department of Revenue that your taxes were filed in 2018 or 2019. So how do I fix this problem? I mean, because I received refunds for both 2018 and 2019. And I looked online, like, how do I fix the problem or let you guys know that the problem is fixed, or what documents do I need to submit? Because it wasn't clear in the email, what do I need to do to get this fixed?
So what happens is every application, all we do is send that name to the Department of Revenue, and they verify whether or not you filed taxes for 2018 or 2019. So we're sort of at the mercy of the department. If they say you did it, then the result is you got the email. So you're saying you did file your taxes, but the Department of Revenue says you didn't. I guess, Rachel, are you listening? Can you, I know somebody from PNN is listening because they texted me.
Yeah, so Rachel is on here, Mr. Treasurer. I think she may have gotten muted again, Lisa, so we may need to unmute the 802 number, the 225-802, and she can help assist with these questions.
Me? Avery, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Hi,
Sorry,
Rachel.
I was talking. Okay, so on an issue when you've got an indication that we can't confirm with the Louisiana Department of Revenue, and you did file your taxes, what we're seeing the most likely issue is the number that you put in on your EID in the application is either your social security number or your EIDL, and you may have used the other number to file your taxes. So the easiest way for me to describe it is like if you went to go shop online and you put in the right credit card number, but when you put in your zip code, you transpose some numbers, and the two systems can't connect. So it's automatic like that. So it says this one, this says, this one over here says this number, LDR says this number, and we can't show a match. So what you need to do is go into the portal and put a note in there and tell us where we can find the right number. So if you put the not the EIDL, I said that wrong, the FEIN number, if you put that in your application, but it was actually filed under your social, go in the portal and tell us that, and we should be able to check against the correct number and move you forward.
Okay, great. So I filed the individual 1040 with the Schedule C, but I know in the application I put in my federal tax ID number.
That's what happened then.
Okay, gotcha, because it wasn't a business return.
Yes, so go in the portal and tell us, just say, you can find the social security number that we filed our taxes on page 7 or whatever page of the tax return.
Wonderful. Okay, and I have one more quick question. So I have another business that was started. It was started in kind of like similar to the other lady. We registered the business with the state in 2019, but we didn't start up until the beginning of 2020. So when it comes to the part where you upload your tax returns, well, we don't have anything to upload, and we didn't file an extension because we didn't start business until January 2020. What do we put, what type of documentation should we submit?
Treasurer, do you want to take that, or you want me to take that one?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. So specific to that particular application, what you're going to have, assuming that the business is a startup, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to document your itemized expenses. So you're going to have to do an itemized application and then upload those expenses.
Okay. And so, but it requires you to enter, tax return information, either an extension form or 18 or 19 taxes.
So
is there a way to bypass?
Yes. So if you have a new business that was started between January 1st and March 1st, then you're not required to upload those taxes because you don't have taxes from last year. If your business was in existence and was operational in 2019, you have to have taxes. So if it's a startup business that started between January and March, beginning of March, then you do not have to upload your tax return.
How does the application work though, Rachel? What is this some particular thing that you check off, or if you
there's a question in the application that specifically says, was your business started between January 1st and March 1st, 2020? So if that's the case, then you check yes in that box, and they will acknowledge that as they begin the review of your application.
Okay, because I attempted to do that and it wouldn't let me move forward. So I called in, and one of the representatives said that I should upload an extension form. But
okay,
I mean,
let's talk offline, and I can help you through that process, because it's not requiring an upload of a tax return. So I'm not sure where it's getting hung up. But Avery, can you get her information and I will call her?
Yeah. If you don't mind, just private message me on here, and I'll take your MSRP number and make sure that Rachel follows up.
Okay, great. Ms. Turner, I see you have your hand up. We have a few more people, please. And while we're kind of at a pause here, Mayor Walker, I want to thank you for joining us. I know, as you like to say, you have your day activities to get back to, but I know you have a very, very busy schedule. So if you need to excuse yourself, you're more than welcome to, and I greatly appreciate your partnership with this, and I'll get back to Secretary Treasurer on the rest of these questions.
Thank you, Lisa, and I do need to sign out, but it's a great program and a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of expert advice. Thank you, and good day, you all.
Thank you. Thank you for being so pro-business. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Treasurer, another question here from a Miss Beatty, and she said, let me get up here. Is there any type of priority being placed for applicants that meet the minority women-owned criteria? It seems as if there's no priority to these applicants, as they've seen others not approved and so forth and so on. Your staff can see the rest of the question here.
Well, it's a $275 million program. There's a $40 million set aside for minorities. About 75% of all of our applications have been processed or fit the minority definition. So there is no set aside, meaning, I mean, when the applications come in, there's not a timeline that says, hey, you have to do these, you got to do those. They're all getting processed at the same time. But there's $40 million set aside for minority-owned businesses. However, we're going to exceed that number. So, no, there's no issues. Everything's going along just fine and as planned. And if the only reason that would have been an issue is if we blew through the money in 3 weeks. then we would have had to pull out $40 million and hold it until we got through it. But that hasn't been the case. You know, we've only given away $33 million. So we have a long, long way to go. So that's not even an issue.
So folks need to continue to be patient. This is a learning process for all of us, and continuing to work through the phases of it all. And we all recognize that everyone is needing their money and some sort of assistance as quickly as possible.
Well, and it's not an instant process. It takes up to 30 days, 25 to 30 days if your application is perfect. If it's not perfect, it takes longer. So the program's only been up and running since July 28th, and the first 3 weeks was set aside for businesses that had received no aid. So it's only been about 4 weeks. So, but we have a lot of applications, but we're getting through them.
Yes, sir. I have another question here from a Mr. Woody, and he's asking, are ride-share drivers eligible to apply?
So I don't really classify the business. What I tell people is if you're a legitimate business in Louisiana, you file your taxes, you've done everything you're supposed to do on your business end, and you're eligible to apply. No matter what the business is. As long as you're under 50 and you're a resident of Louisiana and you file Louisiana taxes, then you're eligible to apply.
Okay. All right. I don't see any other questions here in the chat box. And you have connected with several people, and Avery has their information for y'all to continue offline, because I know they have many, many more questions to ask of you all. And and you're welcome, Mr. Woody. So with that, I think we're right at our 1 hour time allotment. Is there anyone in the chat box? Quick question. Okay, well, Secretary Treasurer, I'll give you the last word to sign us off, and I believe Avery and Rachel have their marching orders.
Yeah. Well, look, I guess the bottom line is it is a process. It takes a little while. It's not instant, and these are human beings and have to go through these applications by hand. But if you've submitted your application and you have some questions, just email them through the portal, and they should be getting back to you. Call the 1-800 number. It's somebody's at 8 to 8 Monday through Friday. And if you just get super duper frustrated and you just think it's not going right, then you call me at my office at 225-342-0016, and we'll take care of it. But it is a process. It does take at least 30 days if your application is perfect. If they're requesting information, then it's going to take a little longer. But nonetheless, I think what most people are concerned about is whether or not that we're going to run out of money. Will their application get processed? If your application is in and we're working on it, at least right now, I would say easily through October, that you will get a check if you do a check. So there's no risk of us running out of money anytime soon. I do ask that you share this with your friends. As the process, this quick relief process has been expanded to everybody, the process is going to go a lot quicker. I think those that are slowed up in the process are still have itemized, and as we're flipping to quick relief, it's just slowing it down a little bit. But just be patient. We're going to get to you as soon as we can. And I appreciate the chamber and the mayor for hosting this today, and hopefully we can do this again in a couple of weeks.
Yes, sir. Miss Avery, I've had several people, I don't know if you've noticed, that are interested in the Tuesday webinar information.
Yes, ma'am. What I'll do is I'll send you an email with that Zoom link, and you can send it out to everyone that was on the call today for them to join us.
Okay, absolutely. And if you're a member of the Chamber of Commerce, you'll see it in our government relations newsletter that comes out on Thursdays as
Let
well.
me let me add this, Avery. Can they just sign up through our website?
I think they can actually. I know we've been promoting it on our Facebook page. Rachel, do you know
They
the
can
answer
sign
to
up on
that?
the Facebook page. I do. They can sign up on the Facebook page, but I want to just let you know that our Tuesday with the Treasurer tomorrow is full. But we're getting ready to publish next week's as well.
Okay,
Fantastic.
great.
So,
Thanks, Rachel.
So Rachel, once it's full, it doesn't let anybody else register?
Well, we so it would, but they wouldn't be able to join. So it'll kick people out when they join. So we have to cap it at about 500 people, or else the platform will kick people out.
So even if 500 people sign up and only 200 call in, it doesn't allow anybody else to sign up?
No, it would allow it allows the first 500 to join.
I got you.
So sign up early. Sign up early and don't be late. So as a reminder, the website is www.louisianamainstreet.com, and call center hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Phone number is 888-795-4947. And the Treasury office number is 225-342-0010. And again, I would like to thank Secretary Treasurer John Schroder for joining us today, along with the mayor. And that we are in unprecedented times, and I know everyone has heard that more than you care to hear that, but we are in unprecedented times. And then on top of that, it doesn't help that it's hurricane season, even for us being in North Louisiana. So we're in this together. If we can all just work together and be patient, I promise we'll all come out on top. So thank you all for joining us today.
Thanks so much, Lisa. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Y'all have a good day. Bye-bye now.